Okay. Hello, art students. Ms. Stomberg here. I'm going to be showing you how to do a do-it-yourself charcoal transfer. So regardless if you are full remote in class or if you happen to want to do this on your own and you don't have transfer paper, I will show you how you can do it yourself. So what we will need is a pen. It's actually better if you have a dead pen, one that does not have ink. But it's very important to have a nice sharp point because we're going to be embossing our image. So we need a pen. We will also need some tape to tape down our image to make sure it doesn't move. And we will also need some willow charcoal. As we learned in class, it's very delicate, very fragile. So it forces us to rub really lightly and it's more forgiving. So if it gets on our paper, and we don't want it in a certain spot, very easy, we just wipe it right off. And finally, we need a clean piece of paper or your final paper, and then a reference image that we would like to transfer onto our paper. So I am using what we learned in class, but the very first step is I'm going to put my final paper aside to make sure it does not get dirty. I'm going to take my reference photo and flip it over. From that point, you are going to take your willow charcoal, even if you only have a little baby bit. Take this little baby bit and spread it all around the back of your photo. You don't need too much. It doesn't need to be a pure black. Doesn't need to be filled in perfectly. Just want to get that graphite down on your paper so that there's some pigment there to transfer onto your other paper. I said final paper before, but really think of it as a practice paper unless you know you want to use this method on your final paper. Okay, so I have completely covered the back of my reference photo with my willow charcoal. And now I'm going to get my practice paper or final paper if this is the method you want to use. I'm going to place my reference photo with the charcoal on top of my paper. Once I have my corners aligned, take some time. Make sure you get this perfectly, because once you start embossing your image, that's it. We cannot move the paper anymore. So make sure it's perfect before you start. I'm going to keep my elbow here, make sure it stays. I'm going to grab myself some tape, very carefully tape down your image. So I have one. I'm going to get my corners. 2, 3, and 4. You can go all the way around on the sides if you would like, but to save time, I'm going to leave it at this. Now, you want to take your pen with your point. This is very important. This is the whole point. We are going to now begin to outline your most important lines that you need in your artwork. So I'm going to zoom in here so you can see how I'm working. Okay, so I am going over my head contour. Go nice and slow. Take your time. Okay, my head contour is now done. I'm going to put in the lines for my neck here. I'm going to put in the form and direction of my hair. The main point here is that you want to do a contour line tracing of your portrait. This way we get all of our facial features correct for contour lines, which are the outlines of our forms, and then we will shade into our forms. So again, I'm getting all my wispy. Wispy was a word for Inktober. I'm getting my wispy little hairs in here, making sure I make notes of that. I'm showing the actual direction of my hair so that when I'm shading and filling in my hair later on in the portrait, I can know what direction to shade in and also add in those forms. So again, direction of the hair. We get the other side of my hair. Okay. I know right now it's hard to see, but once I lift my image, you will understand what we're doing here a bit better. I'm going for the contour of my nose now. I highly recommend this method in order to capture details like the eyes, the nose, because those forms are harder to get just based off observation. And if you're struggling with the method using the grid in class and you feel your face just isn't coming out accurately as possible, this is another way to guarantee accurate success in nailing down these facial features. So now I am going over my eyes, eyeball, my pupil. I'm even notating where the highlights are in my eyes, so later on I know where to shade, where not to shade. I'm gonna get this eyebrow contour in. I'm also going to know where some cast shadows are in my face. That's where my chin is. My cheekbones, my other eye, some eyelashes. I like to leave eyelashes for last, but why not add them in since we're here? My other eyebrow. Okay, so now I've completely contour lined, traced my portrait. I'm going to lift at my tape, which will also lift the paper. Boom. And what did you know? It's magic. I have a light contour line drawing of my portrait now. And now we can see there's extra dirt and whatnot on the page, but with Willow, because it's so forgiving, I'm literally just rubbing my page. It goes away right onto my hand. And my lines are still there because these are embossed into the paper, meaning we have etched into or embossed into the paper. So these lines will not ever go away, meaning if you wanted to erase these lines now that it's embossed, probably won't be the best move, because when you shade, embossed lines remain. So you will see, even though it's shaded over with the charcoal, it doesn't fill in these lines now. Technically, this method is in the category of printmaking, so that is another topic we'll dive into. I wanted to show you though that once those embossed lines are there, we cannot remove them. Anyways, so that is the do-it-yourself transfer method. If you would like to do that in order to help yourself map out your face accurately, you can totally use this method. This is another way that artists work. So you can see on my reference photo, I contour outlined my entire portrait. And the lines that I embossed and went over came up on my working paper. Okay. So that is how we make a do-it-yourself transfer using willow charcoal, 2 pieces of paper, and a pen. Have fun!